YouTube and TikTok. Cannot say the YT one, it's the red play button. I cannot say that because of policies. Um, so, little housekeeping. Chloe gets blocked on site, okay? Um, Mods, I'm going to pick a couple mods and give block permission to. Where's my mod settings here? This is all kind of messed up. This is a different account than I had before, so packs, manage access. Come on. Okay, packs you can block. Goose, you're going to be able to block. And I think we're good. Oh, Mary. Knew my alarm was going off for that. Yeah. Sorry, I gotta swap my sensor out mid-stream, I guess. Alright, Goose, Mary, and Pax, you all have access to block. Katie, 1 second, you're going to get access as well. Do not let anybody up. I am going to do that afterwards. So we're going to run through everything. And then we will... Oh, hilarious. Damn, I don't need that many people to be able to block. Only keeping an eye out for the people reporting. There you go. Delirious, you got access too. So, we're going to go through everything. I'm going to talk about the timeline. I need to pop this chat out. Hold up. Yeah. Okay. Right there. Okay. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the timeline that we have for Ariana. We're going to talk about notes that I have. We're going to talk about defensive measures. We're going to talk about the childhood trauma because that plays into who he is today. Okay? Hi, Duchess. And then what we're going to also do is talk about the stuff, the alleged stuff around minors that we have found, the history with minors, and then we'll kind of just go from there. I have some random stuff I will be showing as well, and then that'll kind of be our show. This is streamed as well to the Play Button app. If you can't stomach everything, please walk away for your own health. Click off. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Let me lock that, actually. So it's been a pain because I can't do OBS virtual camera, so I'm capturing OBS itself. So you guys may see like the red lines and stuff like that as stuff comes up. We are on the Echo MB1 account, so this is kind of protected. We do have some songs that we will do as well. So I do ask that we tap the screen, share it out. People are watching it from Discord servers. People are probably restreaming it. It's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. Yes, this is their original account, so we got some protection here. Cool, Pulse is multi-streaming as well. If, for whatever reason, we get taken down on TT app, we are still up on the other app. Okay, I will keep going there. If I go down, hop over to Pulse's live if you need to catch up, okay? Unblock Black Cat. I don't think Black Cat is blocked on this. Um, one of the mods, can you just go in the block list and check that? One of the mods that have block access, you will unblock most of the people except for, you'll see the multi-accounts that are the problematic ones. We're going to block Chloe. Muppet will have the pleasure of being blocked as well. If Life is Tough comes in, block as well, okay? Those are the three big ones. I want nothing around this. Unblock Christy. Um, I will block her later. So, that's good. She's not there. Okay, Black Cat's not there. Black Cat may have me blocked, but I don't have her blocked on this. Your username is Black Cat. Yeah, I know. So, alright, what we're going to talk about first, I'm going to go over notes that I have. I will go through the timeline of their life, and then we will go through the content that supports the timeline that I put together. Now, this timeline that I'm going to give isn't 100% accurate. We got ballpark dates in some areas. We're piecing together the information based on what was publicly available on multiple news articles, posts, and everything like that. We know his story has been very inconsistent, okay? Andy, if this is not good for you or up to your par, then that's fine. We will be talking about their trauma, and I will be going over posts where they posted about their trauma. Block LOLO as well. Block Fred. Fred doesn't need to be here. So feel free to add Fred to that block list. If you have an issue with me reading off someone's trauma, okay, you're good, you're good. Um, Karen as well. I don't care for Karen. No, let Karen report. I don't know. I don't know about Karen. If Karen gets annoying, you can block her. I want to get this out to as many people as possible. Yeah, Karen reports, which is why I'm concerned. All the people that are writing so hard for animosity, they're going to be coming in here reporting. So that's the problem. They can watch from another Discord server or someone that is restreaming it. Good luck. Again, if I go down, I'm going to keep going. Pulse is streaming it from the Play Button app over to his live. So if I go down, go see Pulse on Fire. Other people are streaming it as well. And this is going to be recorded. Speaking of which, start recording. No. Okay. So we're recording as well. Cool. Alright, so notes that we have a corn star name of Lori James. Now, I do not recommend anyone go out there deep diving for the corn. It is really hard for me to check my DMs right now. Let me just do this. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Katie. It's hard when you're rocking with that PFP and you unblock them. Oh, why did it say no sound detected? Hold up. Oh, I'm not playing anything. Okay, y'all got my microphone. We're good. We're good. We're good. Alright, let me minimize this here a little bit. Oh, God. Okay. So, we have a corn name of Lori James. Don't go out looking. So some of the videos that are out there, people have found them. It is the videos with the older stuff, with the P3 stuff, that you will get tracked. There are tracking links to them. Don't touch them. I avoided them. Other people seen them. I wanted nothing to do with them. Don't go looking for the corn stuff. So, stop on YP. I am streaming over to TikTok as well. I don't know why you're having issues with the audio. Pulse, is the audio good over on YouTube? Mike, hold up.
YouTube, that should be better. There we go. Okay. And we're getting audio there. It's hard because I'm multi-stream and make sure everything works good. So, all right. Don't go looking for the corn. There are some videos. There's 4 videos that are out there that are fine. They're from when he was older, where there were photo shoots done as well. No gifting, please. Don't do that. We're not looking to do that this live. I can't turn it off in studio. I tried to do it and had to restart, and it still didn't have an option. Um, the real name Ariana Loreno. It is available through the news article, so we will see that name pop up in the news articles. No problem, Black Cat. Um, they are 34 years old, born March 4th, 1991. Um, 5'5", 130 pounds. Again, we put everything together. So there, everything has been sent over already for reports, so I don't want to hear anything to say, have you reported it yet? Everything's been reported, so don't worry about it. So, they are from Hampton, Virginia, and moved to Seattle, Washington now. They supposedly have a $20,000 stock portfolio that they made during the vid when they were doing investments. I have some concerns there around structuring and insider trading, perhaps, but I don't know for sure. That's alleged. Um, some of the money came from a settlement. They were in an accident where they got hit by a car with on a bike, and they have an accident. That's why they walk with the cane. Not the bike from the protests. They were on a bike, so that story was inconsistent. Um, they do a lot of control tactics. So we've seen a lot of this stuff, okay? Part of their control tactics to manipulate people and stop people going after them or even talking about them, they do a lot of love bombing, okay? They do a lot of emotional manipulation. We seen this last time we started to talk about them, or the first time we started talking about them. They went and woke up Envy, and then Envy went and hosted a live, half asleep, oblivious to what was going on, and they were just emotionally pleading with everyone and manipulating. Yeah, we're not blocking. Block like Ello and Chloe, so they're going to be reporting. There's a couple mods that have access to block, and then they'll block them. Um, let's. Okay, Black Cat's fine. Oh no, Goose, that's not. That's not. That's Black Cat. All right, mods, I trust you. Do what you can. Just avoid them. Um, all right, so they do a lot of the emotional manipulation. And Bubbles, no. And we've seen this on Envy's Live. Y'all are fucking with me today. They do a lot of information overload. So what they do is they just throw everything at you where you cannot sort it out. Not no. Where they just dump everything on you and you're trying to process everything. So it's kind of an information overload. One thing I have seen personally is legal threats. They did that to me. They did that to other people that were trying to call them out. This person has been called out on multiple platforms. Um, they've been exposed on multiple platforms, and people have stopped because of the legal action, the doxing, and the physical violence and threats. Um, so they do dox. We seen this the other day. Chloe, who is riding hard for Annamosity, doxed me the other day in multiple lives. That is a tactic that they use. They will put up videos and content of your family, your friends. They will do anything to silence you. They don't care. There's also threats of physical violence. They do that with brandishing their weapons and call it trans Tifa. Hold on. I need to Discord settings and put y'all in streamer mode because y'all are talking up a storm over there. Okay, we're in streamer mode. That'll stop the beeps. I did not dox Envy. Don't make accusations like that, please. I do have the screenshot of when Envy was doxxed, but that wasn't me. So when it comes to transgender stuff, they use old studies against trans people, primarily around the AGP. They are hyper focused that transgender is not a thing; it is AGP. So they use those studies for all that. That's their go-to. I've seen studies that they linked on their Twitter page that were back from 1980s, 1990s, like 1960s, things like that. That's what they're looking at. They do come from a very conservative and Republican family. Their mother was very supportive, but their stepfather was the one doing all the abusing. So, Fred is stupid. Just keep blocking Fred. Yeah, LOLO, block the LOLO accounts, those are Fred. I'm not going to talk about the corn videos where those are located. There's a couple sites for them. Don't go looking for them, please. So let's talk about the timeline here. I do have a couple missing data points on my timeline. I'm missing the date of the marriage. Again, that's buried in information. There is a GC therapist that they're seeing. I don't have the exact start date. So what we know is roughly 2 years ago, they learned about what AGP is. Okay, and that's when things took a change. Physical display a timeline. I could show the screen for it. Yeah. Hold up, let me make sure. Yeah. Yeah, give me 1 second here. I can show this. Alright, display capture. Boop. Cool. You're going to see notes in here. I'm going to go through some of them pretty quick. Alright, so that's the timeline. I want this one. Hold up. Yes. I need this image unlocked. We're going to move this over. So for reference, just so everybody has it, this above me is the calendar year and the age. So y'all can reference the age to the event, okay? So 1991 is when they were born. We have notes from 1999 where that's where they said the beating stopped hurting at 8. That's a quote from one of their posts. One of the things I found interesting, the stepfather is perhaps former military. They talked about how he was always saluted as a real man and served, and he looked up to him, but that was the stepfather. So perhaps military officer, not 100% sure there. Notes include that they were abused 7 to 12 years old. And these are notes on X that we're going to review later, and that includes CSA. All right. Saku cry. 2008 was when they were diagnosed with gender dysphoria and began their gender transition. This was when they were 17 years old. They went to a therapist on the southern East Coast for about a year before they started HRT. All right. 2018, and and that was 2009. They started HRT. They were 18 years old. 2010, that's when they were diagnosed with the generalized convulsive epilepsy. That has nothing to do with HRT. HRT doesn't cause that. That's a separate condition. It's not a comorbidity or anything like that. She's 34. I have her information. Um, 2009, 2011, there's notes worked at Doc's Organic Ranch, ranch handler, Seattle, Washington. Um, there's so 2014 in November is when Lori James in Sexy Fishnets was published. That was the first video. 2015 content was posted to Fem Out, not a repost. There were two separate videos and two photo shoots there. 2016 is when they had their orchiectomy. 2017 they created an account on Xvids, and there was no content posted there. All right. Here's the tricky part we're gonna come back to. This is a unknown for the exact date. This is the stuff with the ex-boyfriend that we're looking at. Relevant information shows roughly 2014, 2017, early to mid 2000s. That's when they were with that ex-boyfriend. That was their pimp, their first abuser, first real boyfriend, they said. It happened in Detroit. Okay. They used him for sexual acts. They abused him and forced actions on minors. This is where that screenshot comes from, where he got arrested, but they didn't, and everything was processed through the courts already, supposedly. We're going to touch base on this and read through those postings because that is the confession there. Ariana took a plea deal from what the understanding is, and there were conditions. Other people that researched that in the past that I talked to, because we've been talking to other people from Twitter that have called him out before, they have said that he took a plea deal in the past from what they found. We were not able to get the court paperwork for this. A little bit iffy on that. I don't know if it's sealed or if it just doesn't exist. So everything was sent over to the police for further investigation. If it's sealed and done with, it's sealed and done with. We do know that they got the Michigan Medical Gardening Consultant verification in the same time, 2014, 2017. So that's how it puts them into Detroit, Michigan during that time. All right. 2014, 2017, they noted there were a medical caregiver in Seattle, Washington. We don't know the exact dates where they were. This is going off of a resume that they had published. 2018 is when they supposedly moved to Seattle from Detroit. This was from a news article. The dates, I don't know 100% about the dates with them moving. They may have been back and forth. We don't know exactly. Again, we're going based on news articles that they said stuff. Homeless for the first year, said that they would find some housing and often face abuse, which we know that's what happens. 2018 to 2019, they were a bicycle courier for Caviar. Here's what's interesting with this person's past. July of 2019 to January of 2020, they were with Roots Young Adult Shelter as a overnight volunteer. So this person has a history, a supposed history, and they were an overnight volunteer in a young adult shelter. That is super concerning. Early 2019, one article said she and her roommate secured a place in the university district. She went through a job training program to gain skills and worked for a time at PCC, the grocery realtor, before moving on to the butt tender at a gardening realtor. 2019, this is when we have the other video posted. Lori James, Blanks for You, published on Groovy Girls. 2020, this is when they worked for PCC Community Market. They were a deli clerk assistant in Seattle, Washington. They were awarded the Nancy Amati Movement Builder Award. They testified on HB 1227 and HB 5160. If I remember correctly, those deal with the evictions around the vid time. So that's when all that happened. 3/1/2020 through February 28th, 2022, they formed Seattle Realtors or Renters Commission. February 20, this was an article that was published around them doing that pastry chef. They were an intern for that. So everybody needs to learn to cook, right? March 20th, there was another article published around the evictions. This featured them as well. 2020 to 2021, they worked at Uncle Ike's in Seattle, Washington. They were cut due to COVID. This is when they started laser hair removal for SRS. February 2021, again, a couple news articles published around the evictions going on, that they had a hand in that, in protesting and doing stuff around that. I know, Con. I'm good. So this is another red flag that's concerning. June of 2021 to present, they're doing work with Street Youth Ministries, but it is mutual aid breakfast in the University District. So it's kind of like volunteer work, but it's still around youth. So they have a big history of doing work around youth. Kind of concerning there. Unknown for the exact date, 2021 through 2022 is when they had FFS. We don't know the exact date. I know, they're goofy. So April of 2022, I found a letter around reappointing of Ariana Lurano as member of Seattle Renters Commission for a term ending February 28th, 2024. So this is like a nonprofit coalition to stop people from getting evicted. That's what they were heavily worked on. They could keep advocating for that and leave trans people alone, just saying. December 30th, 2022, this is when they had bottom surgery. And we know this because there was a newsletter updated February 14th of 2023. They were 30 years old when they had full SRS done and everything. All right. I say SRS because it's just simpler. February 2021 to current, they're co-chair of the Cancel the Rent Coalition. Again, a nonprofit organization out of Seattle to deal with the evictions. June of 2021 to current, they started doing the Be Seattle. This is their nonprofit organization that they actually started up, the Be Seattle. They're listed as a workshop coordinator. All right. This is where I have concerns that the lawyer that they're using and threatening people with may be tied to that, which if the lawyer is tied to that, then that means they're using services for a nonprofit for personal use, which is a felony. So allegedly that could be where the lawyer's from. I don't know. They haven't given a name of their lawyer. 2025 in February is where we really see the ramp up of the detransitioning. This is a result of a couple things. So We know there is a GC therapist that they see. That is one factor. They learned about AGP. That's another factor. Um, the person that they linked up with that was hosting the live this morning, Richie, I believe it is, um, they kind of really took in a lot of information from them. That's a factor as well. And then there's the turf nurse that they became really good friends with, and that's a factor as well as the husband. All right, Martha's probably a therapist. So we have a couple protests that they've attended. We have May 7th, 2025. There's a couple protests. They linked the videos on X. I do have the videos. They're in that long one that I labeled potential terrorism thing on the YouTube channel. Kind of just threw them in there so people can see the reactions of the protests. May 28th, there was a protest. An article was written about the protest, so we can look at that as well. June 7th, there was another protest. June 10th, another protest, and this is where they were attacked by the person with the bike. At the protest video I put on the play button channel, if you go to the end of it, I slowed it down in slow motion so you can see that he was clear of the bicycle wheel. He was not attacked by the bicycle wheel. This is why they tried to press charges on them, and it went nowheres. So the person was let out. They're mad over that. June 13th, 2015, this is when they went to that young woman's leader meeting. They went there with turf nerds. And during the conference, that's when they were taking pictures in the bathroom. Now that brings us up to today. So this is a very rough timeline, but it's as accurate as we could be, based on news articles, postings, any information that was publicly available. This is what we have. All right. Everybody get your monsters. They're good. Yeah. Guys, anybody sending me stuff? I don't. Yeah. When I talk about Ariana, remember the pronouns are he, him. It is a name association thing. It's a name association thing that, because it's a typically feminine name, then I associate that with woman. So that's kind of what I'm at. Just fucking he, him. Y'all know that. All right. Questions for chat. Any questions from chat around the timeline? I can make this available if you guys would like as well. I can do that later tonight. No. All right. No questions. Cool. So I'm going to minimize that. Let me pull up the folder of information here. Okay. Do we want to take a minute and hear one of the songs we have for Ari? I think we should. Just kind of a mid-session palette cleanser, because this will be broken up into 3 parts. I have 3 songs made. Yeah, let's not mute Mama Wolf. Mama Wolf has helped out in a lot of this. Let's avoid muting a lot of the people that helped out. All right, so we'll do the first song. Songs. I'll do the first song. We'll move into the triggering topics and dissect a lot of the screenshots. We'll do another song, finish up the screenshots, and then we'll go ahead and do panels, and then we'll go from there.
Annamosity, what's your...
Yes, sadly, it is an AI song. Just because we didn't have time right now, and unfortunately, like it is what it is. I'm not a big fan of AI songs, but here you go.
Game, preaching love while spitting shame, typing lies behind your screen, targeting folks just trying to be seen. You dress it up in more war, but we see what you're fighting for. Not truth, not care, just fear and spite. Guess you only shine when you dim our light. Annamosity mask on tight, but hate can't hide in the neon light. You punch down, but we rise higher. Truth's not scared of a keyboard liar. Animosity, your act is clear. You're the echo of fading fear. Say it's concerned, but we know the code. You prey on kids when they're on the ropes, but love ain't fragile like your pride. We stand loud, you run and hide. We got joy, we got pride, we got each other side by side. Your new stage, our voices growing, we dancing like you'll never know. Animosity, mask on tight, but hate can't hide in the neon light. You punch down, but we rise higher. She's not scared of a keyboard liar. Animosity, your act is clear. You're the echo of fading fear. We got joy, we got pride, we got each other side by side. Your noise fades, our voices grow, and we dance in the light you'll never know. Animosity, mask on tight, but hate can't hide in the neon light. You punch down, but we rise higher. She's not scared of a keyboard liar. Animosity, your time is through. We build a world that don't need you.
All right, so the songs are good. There's only 3 songs. I'm breaking them up, but they're going to be played because people are in here reporting, and it changes how TikTok's listening to the live. Okay, if you don't like it, it's another way of protecting the live by changing the mood. Cool. I'm only doing one this time. I'll do one in a little bit and one towards the end. There's a point to it. Reason that we don't normally get taken down. So we're going to talk real quick about the bathroom photos. He has an obsession with the bathroom photos. So just selfie after selfie. I mean, this one, there's nobody in there. You do you. I'm okay with that. This was one, oh God, I'm going to have to resize all these when I pull them up. This was one in South Korea. And there is a person in the background. So there's people in the bathroom and you're taking selfies again. This is the one we talked about the other day. God. Why does it keep resizing? Hold on. Scale? No. Hold on. Fit to screen. There we go. Fit to screen. So this was them in the bathroom at the convention they went to, and they're taking photos. They actually took a video in this one. So the video they took it down, and we can see clearly there's a guy in there. He just finished up using the bathroom. So, yep, very much like Lily Tino. Yes, this will be fully available on YouTube. The other ones are going to be a little bit easier to do from the additional screen, but this is going to be turning it on and off. Um, all right, heavy trigger warning on this next section. I'm going to go through the stuff relative to the childhood trauma and what they've been through as a child based on their post. So these are all Ariana's words, all his words. And this kind of gives a understanding of how they are today based on their trauma. You'll start to, like, if you understand trauma in people and trigger responses and how they act, it makes you more of who you are. So no particular order. I'm going to kind of go through them and read them. If you need to step out, now's the time to do it. All right. As a child, I drifted into the shadows, restless sleep, never fully at ease, like an animal, keeping one eye open, twisted on my back, feet against the wall, the only position that felt right. He'd burst into my dark room, the light seared my eyes, his face purple with fury, trembled as he lunged, grabbed the hair at the back of my head like a cruel hand seizing the dog. So he's talking about his stepfather there, if that makes sense, if that is clear enough. Dragged to the bathroom, he'd shove my face in the urinal with my little brother left. Into the urine, my little brother left, thinking it's a game. He'd grind my face into the grout, screaming, spit, spraying, then hurl the toothbrush at me, yelling, "Scrub it." He'd storm out, leaving me to scrub for hours, often from midnight to 2 a.m., exhausted, blindly working while he coughed over his bong down the hall. I was raised like a beast. This was a regular part of my life between the ages of 7 and 12. As a teenager, when I talked about how I felt, I was told to man up, and what happened wasn't a big deal. They call me unhinged. I am the monster he made. Yeah, this is incredibly sad, and we're not going to discredit anybody's trauma or anything he's been through. This is just getting an understanding of what he's been through, so when you're dealing with him, you kind of understand the history. My stepdad groomed me into letting men hurt me. I grew out of it as an adult with therapy, but not before recreating my childhood 100 times over. I grew up without dignity. I will only be learning to be a man now. Trans ideology robbed me of the ability to heal and put me in the path of further predation. Wow. Gamps predate on young men with experiences like mine. Genevieve Gluck is based. So, if you look at this one, stepdad groomed me into letting men hurt me. So, they were used, okay? The stepdad did all the abuse in the house. Grew out of it as an adult with therapy, but not before I recreated my childhood 100 times over, okay? So what that means is they actually redid the same thing as an adult that they did as a child. And we have other screenshots that reiterate that. So this is kind of where that screenshot I posted on Reddit kind of comes from, okay? This relates to it. This is why it's important to understand the trauma. The flame and the void, imagine a flame and feed all emotions into it. Fear, pain, anger, hope, love, feed every sensation into it. The pain in your ribs, the agony of each step, the thirst that won't end, burn it all away until nothing remains but the void and the existence in there. It's there, you are safe, nothing can touch you. So they're talking really how they cope with their trauma, all right? I don't live in the void anymore. That's why I go from being very emotional to very mute and shut down. When I hurt so much that everything starts reflectively swallowing itself into the void. My heart hurts my body, feels tight and tense, and it starts trembling. I'm rarely truly relaxed enough. I am holding my husband or dog. Um, Again, this is like a sad trauma response. You know, someone that has been abused their whole life and their whole childhood. This is the type of response you would really expect from them. Again, we're not going to invalidate this. This is genuine. This is why he reacts the way he does when people confront him. Blackhead, I'm not skipping anything. On like it, it gives a full picture, so I'm not going to skip everything. This is all very hard to do. Um, the fact that abusive fathers think that giving their boys grueling physical tasks and berating them the entire time is somewhat beneficial. I'm not going to read the rest of theirs because that's not animosity, it's just pointing out a fact to it. So this is where I seen the note. I was 8 years old when the beating stopped hurting. So around 8 years old, they became very desensitized to the abuse. So that's kind of another very sad thing. Um, that is something that happens with, it's a big emotional response. Um, People become desensitized to trauma and then they kind of act differently. So that's kind of where they're doing it. Yeah, trauma shapes people into their adulthood. So here's where things kind of the change. This is one thing I picked up on. This person says sorry. This is the person Genevieve Gluck that they were talking about. So anytime you hear Genevieve Gluck, that is that person. All right. Thank you. I am, and I have a very wise GC therapist who is always looking out for my mental health while I talk about this. My husband is very supportive, and I am finally beginning to heal and address why I am disassociated from my body, why I was disconnected from being a man. Because of the nature of what you cover, the darkness I lived, you are like a hero to me. I am grateful we got to interact over this. Thank you for having the courage to start into the void and call it out. Women like JK and you give me the strength to talk about it. So they have this GC therapist. This is where I can't nail down the time frame, but I think it's within like the last like 2 years. This person was a pivotal role in getting them to change their mindset and start calling every trans person AGP. All right. Like I said, the GC therapist, turf nurse, people like Genevieve Gluck and the other like detransitioners on X really shaped this person to change around. He said he started therapy in January. Okay. So January would make sense. If he started therapy in January with this therapist, that kind of makes more sense than like 2 years ago, because that means that this person is why we're seeing a big change this year. See, this is why it's important to go through this stuff. Wouldn't have been a problem 2 years ago. I grew up in a state of solitary confinement at the mercy of one of the worst men in the world. I was haunted when I walked into the LGBT center. So the stepfather was the abusive one, right? And then when they turned 17, they walked into an LGBT center and they were kind of accepted. They were embraced to be themselves and start to get help. That's when they started to go to therapy. Okay. This was a pivotal change in their life. now that I Category 5 Hurricane Anna dumped my trauma all over public social media platform before going to therapy, I'm going to go play in a field with my dogs and enjoy the sun and the joy in the life I now have. I never thought I would live past 25. Those of us that grew up in domestic abuse at home, childhood trauma, and being abused as children, we all had that sentiment. Same thing. Again, we're not invalidating any of this. This is really the shit that they've gone through. It's a very sad childhood. I feel bad for this person. All right. They definitely deserve the love and care over their childhood, but not for what happened as an adult. Okay, which that's what we're going to talk about next. Most people only post the best photo, only show the best moments, only talk about things the best angle. Everybody shows you the mask they want you to see and not who they are, which is true. People hide their pain, shame, fears, and evil. The world is actually not kind. It's dark and ugly, and it pretends to be sunny and pretty sometimes. I can agree with that to an extent. There's a lot of the world that is just vastly dark and horrible, but I think there's a lot of good in the world as well. I believe this from around the age of 8 years old to 26. So 8 years old to 26 years old. 26 would have put them around 2017. All right. I was smart, paranoid, jaded, black-pilled teenager, but I still got groomed into a castration cult. They're talking about when they went to that LGBTQ center and they started to see a therapist and be accepted for who they were at the time. This language around into a castration cult, I believe that comes more from the detransitioners, turf nurse, the GC therapist, all that kind of instilled that language into him. All right. The idea that some of my conservative male friends unironically call me sir respectfully is mind-blowing. I grew up watching the only man I respect get saluted and called sir. I didn't have any dignity and I didn't show any dignity. I never really got to be the man who is addressed with respect. It ironically makes me cry. Should have gotten to experience that. Experiencing it now as a G-man who lost his manhood and dresses flamboyantly shows me exactly how foolish I was to run away from being a man just because I was different. So this right here, when they're talking about, I grew up watching the only man I respected get saluted and called sir. I didn't have any dignity and didn't grow into any dignity. I believe that is the stepfather. This is where I say like he may have been military. So that kind of gives me some information there. This was recently an hour, like 2-3 hours ago. Yeah, basically talking about orchestrating a smear campaign against them with the apparent goals of bullying me into despair or even self-destruction. This campaign is a repeat of previous effort led by Chris Rice, also known as Emily G. Dawn, which relentlessly harassed me months ago. I have talked to Chris Rice. They have pretty much stayed away from it, sent me some information they have, and we kind of just took it over from there. What information we have was verified in a lot of these posts and other articles. were able to go out and find a lot of information. So this is just a repeat. So this person was called out on Twitter and other social media platforms for the shit that they've done. This is just a repeat on a different platform because they've changed from platform to platform. Alright, so that kind of gives you an idea of what was going on. These are absolutely lies. My mother was a survivor, not a predator. My stepdad hurt us both. Say what you want about me, but leave my mother alone. Definitely can respect that. So, heavy warning on this one. Heavy warning on this one. Step out. This is very traumatic. If you need to step out, step out. All right. Get a drink. Hydration check, everyone. All right. Annamosity wrote, I was confined to a mattress in a barren room. No door to escape through. Access the room. Across the room, a stack of my favorite books just sat out of reach, taunting me. The windows were nailed shut, coated in grime, blocked out in lights and hope. From the moment I woke, I was forced to sit there, staring at those books until summoned for lunch. I ate alone, after the other boys, under his watchful gaze, every bite scrutinized. Then back to the empty room, I'd sit until dinner, where my mother, under his command, prepared a dish that turned my stomach. Night after night, he forced it down my throat. If I vomited, his fists would follow. As I sat on the bed, he'd creak the floorboards just outside the doorframe, sending me scrambling to return the books I dared to touch. He'd storm in, flimsily excuse ready, and beat me again. This started when I learned I loved to read. It was only one of the subtler ways he tormented me. An 8-year-old autistic boy under the grip of a malignant narcissist P3DO. That's why I was transitioned. So a lot of trauma. This is incredibly bad. So this is kind of what he went through. An abusive father, tormented, confined to a room, nothing there, doors, windows nailed shut and all that. This is the abuse as a child, that a lot of it was recreated as an adult. Okay? My name is Ari. I was groomed as a child. Then when I got free, I was indoctrinated into transgender ideology. I was a victim of a P3, and then the victim of a pedophilic ideology that convinced me to castrate myself. My body was sold by others and then by myself. So the videos that we found that are publicly available on a couple sites, they were videos and content that he willingly made after the ex-boyfriend, okay? The ex-boyfriend from Detroit, that's the one that made content that was sold and published with children, okay? He was an adult at that time. So this is kind of giving a little bit more information to the history. This is what I have for the childhood trauma. It's a lot to take in, all right? Let's talk about the minor stuff. That'll get a lot of the heavy stuff out of the way. All right. what I'm going to pull up are the screenshots, one of the screenshots from the background that in the video that I put out there, as well as I posted it to Reddit. This is what Richie had up this morning. There's a second one. We'll talk about that one, how everything relates together, and then I'll go over the additional stuff around Discord servers that's alleged. Um, all this stuff was sent to the police. Yeah, this person definitely needs some help. So, this is Anna. One of their Twitter accounts is Truthful TS. There's also Annamosity, Transphobe 01, Transphobe 02, Transphobe 03, and Transphobe 04. They're all the Twitter accounts. All right, and Truthful TS. Do go ahead, Mr. Don. I don't record private calls, but the truth is I told Mr. Don about my past and how after escaping my family, I got caught in a cycle of being taken advantage of by male predators. I chased men just like my childhood abuser. So, yes, you often do look for people that remind you of your parents and things like that. That is something people do. I was pimped out by my first serious boyfriend, ended up being a child P3. He used me as a beard and he took advantage of the S&M that my stepdad trained into me. Alright. I have years of shame in recreating my childhood. So those two sentences there, he used me as a beard and took advantage of the sadomasochism my dad trained into me. This is why it's relevant to understand the childhood abuse that they went through as a child, because that was abuse and they recreated that with this ex-boyfriend. I have years of shame in recreating my childhood. They literally did that again, okay, with children. Some people out there did stumble across the other content that I did not want to see or did not care to go look for. They came across it by accident, and pretty sure there were minors in there from what I was told. Did not want to see it, did not want to send it to me. Again, those people found it by accident. Everybody that has found stuff has walked away from this. It is that bad. I sold my body all through my teen years. This is all a great opportunity for me to organically talk about this. I'm very bored, very well off housewife with a mean streak for AGPs in denial like Miss Dawn. He started this, but I have to be honest, I'm vindictive, traumatized, F-slur, and I will enjoy this drama. Yes, I vape all day, that's why my whole voice is raspy. Huge read coming from a man in 1980s floral. Nothing can cause me pain, but I am a diamond. So, very much he gets off on triggering people, getting a response and everything like that. So, someone asked, who did they recreate this with? I am alleging that they recreated it with children because the boyfriend was a predator, a child predator. So they were doing stuff with the ex-boyfriend who was a child predator, okay? Doesn't take much critical thinking, but just think that. Yeah. They feed off of the drama and energy. They do enjoy that. All right, I'm going to show this next one. Any questions on that slide? No? Okay. Where's the proof, though? The assumption he follows was in teen years. I'm saying a legend. I'm saying allegedly. So nobody was able to find an actual court case, and this is just them speaking on it. I'm going to just throw this information out there. Everything is alleged. Y'all can decide what you want to do with it, what level of contact you want to have with this person, or what level you want to platform them. This is kind of all on everybody watching. Okay. This is another post under the Transphobo One account. Oh my God, the estrogen fried his brain. I don't think he understands what Roman pedestry is or why my ex was so attached to my castrated body. Um, yeah. So a lot of the men who want castrated boys to do things do so because as we age, we look young. I was a victim to this type of sexual predation during my teenage years as a castrated gay teen. Um, we have the dates of the Orky. We have the dates of SRS. They weren't during teen years. The videos were from well into their adulthood. Right. He wasn't castrated at the time. He had SRS done in 2022. The intentional misrepresentation of my life is occurring because Mr. Rue is triggered fetishistic transvestite. These men are dangerous and the ideology they made is deadly. So again, this is just them talking about a person they have issue with. Here's the key paragraph. My ex is in jail and I'm not. That is a fact. I was never charged with anything because I was his beard and did not know what was happening. He was convicted and charged after I left him for pimping me out. Mr. Rue is aware of this. Yes, people are aware of that. He was charged, you were not. Okay. You say you had no recollection of it. Yes, there is trauma where you forget your trauma and stuff that you've done, but morally, like legally, you were supposedly not charged. Okay. This is where I take a moral issue with it. You still did stuff with him, with minors. Morally, I would not give you grace there. Oh, Annamosity's cameraman. Okay, it's not Annamosity. Morally, I would not give someone like this grace here. You would have to unalive me before I did anything with the child. Plain and simple. Manipulation aside and everything like that, yeah, you're probably manipulated into it. But again, I don't have to morally give you grace for your actions. These two things are the biggest statements. This one and the last screenshot. All in his words. Alright. The one prior is up on the Reddit if anybody wants to read through that. The last screenshot, I'll put it back up because people are asking where is the proof he did it. He used me as his bard and to start from here, I was pimped out by my first serious boyfriend, ended up being a child predator. Okay, the boyfriend ended up being a child predator. He used me as his beard and he took advantage of the S&M my stepdad trained into me. I have years of shame recreating my childhood. So when we look at the childhood trauma, what do we have? We have CSA, we have abuse, we have imprisonment. So if he's talking about recreating his childhood and the boyfriend taking advantage of S&M that they were taught, connect the dots. If you choose not to, that is on you. This is where I think some thinking about it and reflection goes a long way. These are all suppositives, though. Block Muppet. Muppet's only in here to report and complain. Muppet is like riding for Anna like no tomorrow. Yeah, it is a massive allegation to make. That's why I'm saying it's alleged. I don't know the full backstory there. They don't talk about it, which, again, like it's a trauma response, you don't want to talk about it. That's fine. But we can make an assumption based on those screenshots and the history. Y'all can make whatever level of engagement with the person you want. So, yeah, the plea deal, and like we're confirmed other sources that they took a plea deal and with stipulations. So there were other situations that happened with Anna around minors or barely legal people. This seems to be a trend with him. I'm now realizing I was being played from the beginning. She is a psychopath out for blood who did everything she could that led me to ending up in the psych ward. Anna is a groomer out for blood who targets 18 to 19-year-old femboys, trans girls, and even some trans boys. Listen, everything, I'm not going to show other stuff that people are making a lot of big claims. A lot of that stuff is Anna's words. So take away from it what you want. Okay, if you want to disregard what was said, that's on y'all. She started very subtly. No longer did she see AGP bisexual trans girls as being deserving of the same rights as her, and eventually she began hating HSTS male attracted trans girls as well. Homosexual transsexuals. There. She took images of me and saved them. She has files on people admitted in VC. She shared photos I long deleted with TERFs on servers to call dog piles on me. She worked day and night pushing me and other transsexuals to unalive ourselves. Anyone 18 to 19 she can't groom into detransitioning. She unalives with 1,000 cuts. This is clear that screen. I knew Anna when I turned 18. I'm nearly 20 now. At first she was trolling me, making fun of corn I was selling, the fact I'm some degree gynophilic, and I'm severely mentally unwell. Not a characteristic she feels bad for, but rather one she targets for me and berates me over. After the trolling stopped, I looked up to her as a reasonable trans elder. She hates that term, by the way. She was like an internet mom to me. I genuinely looked up to her. I loved painting my models on VC on her server and talking to her about life, but one day her demeanor shifted. No longer was it safe. That's kind of when like the GC therapist came into play and turf nurse came into play and all those people. So guess who set up Anna's Discord server that had minors and barely legal boys in it? Anna's words. Guess who helped Anna groom all those young men? This guy, Gay Penguins. Do not under any circumstances tag me or anything related to this or any drama ever again. I've been off X for over a month and I'm too busy to participate in wherever this is. So this person set up Anna's Discord server. Chloe, like, I don't know how you keep coming in here. And not, like, being blocked. How many counts do you have? Jeez. Go away, Chloe. This is absolutely slander. I set up the security for a Discord server. I did not run anything, and I groomed no one. This was strict no minors policy allowed on the Discord server. Anyone in violation that was removed immediately. Every single channel was also manually flagged as NSFW. So they were all marked NSFW channels in the Discord server. Yeah. What you chose wrong, Pale. I know the truth about the server you ran. What server would that be? I ran no server. Had no idea what you're talking about. Again, if you have some actual evidence on things you alleged about Anna, go ahead and release it rather than what it is. Either way, don't tag me about this again. I'm barely on X anymore. So there is a bounty out there for the Discord server transcripts. I set up the security measures for it, including manual flagging of all channels as NSFW, posted rules which had to be agreed upon before anyone could ever see the general chat, automatic moderation, and verified roles. There were no minors in the server at all. One person tried to sneak in that was 17 and was removed within 2 hours of them being there when I discovered them. The Discord was publicly posted. Rules said no minors at all, and channels were flagged NSFW, so anyone trying to join the server the age of 18 would have to first of all come onto the server themselves through the public link, then lie about their age in the rules agreement, lie about their age to the Discord moderation for anyone to access any of the channels, none of which allowed any kind of pornographic material, nudity, etc. of any kind in the first place. Give me a break. So they claim not to allow it. All the channels were marked NSFW, and they did allow it on the Discord server. Yeah, nobody lies about their age, right? There were more than one minor. I'd keep those files you have. That might be the only thing protecting you, sir. They were kicked when they were found out, you imbecile. And then this person was 17 and friends with everybody. So they were all friends together in a Discord server or something. One more thing can be shared about Anna, Alex, because it is not directly related to the commission of a crime up to the age of what? So we also got into an argument about spanking that revealed she was okay with forcibly declothing minors up to the age of 12. So there were debates in this Discord server, which is why there's the bounty on the transcripts for the Discord server. One of the big debates was disciplining your children, and they wanted it, they said forced declothing up to the age of 12. How's that fucking discipline? That's disgusting. Alexis said, okay, no, fucking hell, you've actually gone so far that I'm going to have to defend Anna, and I promise you, this is not the last thing I will do. The server full of the same who's valid, who's not, AGP accusations, and other nonsense you see in every Twitter space, and that's basically it. Minors were not allowed, nor were there ever any indications that young males were intentionally being brought in. Penguin was barely around most of the time, and the only thing I ever saw for him when he was the attempted caution the younger ones who wanted to were starting transition. That and pleasant conversation with the other older adults. As for Anna's behavior, nothing in the months I was in the server looked even close to grooming. Bullying and massively bitchy, definitely. But never anything that would suggest anything inappropriate towards children. I can't stand Anna, but that is just wrong. So there were like people just turning 18 in this Discord server, and there were some minors in there. They got caught and eventually booted out. This is why I say allegedly. Drama spicy. Oh my god, that makes me sick if I even follow this guy. So this is conversations with a private conversation with someone and Anna. Okay, you don't like me. Why do you care? Go fuck your God. You're fucking confused. LOL. I'm just disappointed. Vicious elder with a Cruella complex. He is. That doesn't mean I want my followers dragging a teen with their nudes. You won't commit self-harm using me. Your moral compass is odd. No, it's not. So there were nudes in that Discord server. And we know minors were in it at some point because they said when they were found out, they were kicked out. This person also had heavy trigger warning, by the way. This person had CNC grape fantasies, recreations that they were doing. When did I say I wanted to get raped? Like CNC, yeah, but not like actually graped. So what was I removed for? I kind of remember staying up, posting shitty 4chan posts, then waking up, and I was removed. Oops. Do you want to know why I keep saying it's complicated? It's their history. The fucking 4chan people. Really go back to 4chan. Get off other platforms. Okay, you don't like me. Why do you care? God, you're fucking confused. LOL, I'm just disappointed. Okay, we did read this. Some of these are doubled up. I can't express enough how much the concept of forcing children to strip as punishment makes me want to vomit. You can claim it fixes naughty behavior, but let's be real, anyone who is okay with stripping kids naked to humiliate them needs their hard drives inspected. Oops. Annamosity says you need to stop messaging me about this. Kids who grow up without real adversary are arsler. That's you. So the only way to give adversity, I can't say that word, would be to remove my clothing as a fucking child. You want to talk about it and then talk about your opinions. We can do it and do a space on it. I'm not going to debate you about this privately. Okay, fine. So this is where they were having debates in the Discord server about disrobing kids as punishment. Anna sees no problem with it and sees that is putting through like adversity with them. And again, that relates back to the challenge, back to the childhood, right? So the abuse they experience as a childhood to make them stronger, that's kind of what Anna is advocating for. When are we doing the debate space? You don't want to do a space with me on an account with your ass on it. I will not. I am not so heartless as to let you drag yourself, child. Calling this person a child. kind of think it's because, removing children's clothing as a punishment is an indefensible position. Yeah, let's hear Anna defend that position. I'm not going to be the instrument of your self-harm. Make an alt. Okay, fine. I'll do the space. What time? Make a pure alt. No corn, no pictures of you a different name. Never post corn on it or an image of yourself. Never admit to who the character is, and I will allow you to interact with my page. Okay. You don't like me. Why do you care? God, you fucking confusing. Um, so this is where Anna's willing to debate this person about disrobing children for punishment. Esmery, go cry. Go cry, Esmery. I'm sorry, AGP Cuddle Pile. I hate you. I'm sorry. Can you unblock my new Twitter? It's covered in gross AGP lewd, so no. You don't have sensitive content filtered out of your feed. I don't want to see you that way. Unmute me. Why am I finding out you're talking about grape in my server? Wait, what? I was talking about my experience with essay and how I process it similarly how I process my genitals and how you let your boyfriend grape you. I don't. Look, this is not something people need to hear. He's super gentle. Somebody must have been taking it that way because that's the message I got. It's mostly trauma cope. I'm just saying maybe you should avoid these topics. My server has survivors. Okay, but people who have been raped don't want to hear you talk about how you cope and what you went through simulating it. There's some weird conversations that happened in Anna's Discord server. No talking, only listing. Does the endgame involve AGPs being forced detransitioned? No. What about me? Shelts wants your Neo Coochie so bad, lol, look at her replies. These are just fucking... why? Let's see. So it kind of goes into it. Anna goes into his history a little bit. That's pretty much it for that. We've seen this one, seen that one, seen that one, seen that one. Anna is obsessed with this idea of Roman pederasty. If you know what that is, then you know what that is. While the Discord server he's running has a bunch of teenagers in it who he's convinced must be AGP, and they are adopting it like an identity rather than letting them sort out with their professionals. Anna very much likes to throw AGP in people's face and tell trans women that you're AGP and that's it. There's no such thing as trans. We've seen that one. In VC, I asked her about the topic. I went to her for advice because it's a fight me and my at the time my boyfriend got into, and she said if you're going to do it right, make it hurt. Later in a space she tried backtracking, saying I was trolling you when the space turned on her. This one's just bad. Yeah. They're a little too honest about the trauma. That's right, Chris. So that's the stuff about the Discord server. There is a bounty out there for the Discord server transcripts where people want to get the full history. That is kind of what we're seeing from it. So allegedly, there's a lot of stuff that happened in that Discord server. We don't know the exact details. I very much would like the authorities to subpoena Discord to get the logs from that server. So that's kind of why everything was reported. I think a lot of bad shit was going on there. Let me see. Not doing that one. What time we got? 9:30. Time is it? Hour and a half. Okay. I'm going to talk some of the defense measures and what we've seen. That way you guys can get an understanding of that. This was basically someone was going to do the same thing and out Ari for the history and what they've been through, as well as like how that relates to the ex-boyfriend, the Discord server. They always dox. They always go after people. My approach to making change is to make the Democrats lose if they're not gender critical. I have turned baiting them into a goddamn art form. So he likes to bait people into reacting. And then when they react, that's when they do like all their other defense tactics, like the emotional pleading, the threats, the manipulation, just being trash. Yeah, very much like Rage Bait. We'll talk about that more, but he likes to incite people to react, very much getting off on it to a degree. To be clear, this is why I'm a G posting. I am taking the Blair White path of letting Transtifa know not to FAFO. And this is that old fuck around and find out meme. So how's the police investigation going? Mine won't be fake. I will share the case number on here. It's time to find out who you are, my dear. I hate to break it to you, Miss Dawn, but my stepdad was scarier than you. I'm not going anywhere, big fat Emily. This is where every time someone tries calling them out on their shit, they try to threaten legal action to silence people. There's a case against me and a few other people. It's okay, now there's literally nothing holding me back. I know he made a monster. Thus begins my eternal Genevieve Gluck arc. He just set me free. This is talking about when they go after people. Now that, because they were doxxed before, the information was put out there, just kind of, they're free to do whatever they want, to say whatever they want. I don't take this as trolling. I take this as a serious thing. Having to rebuild my computer is an opportunity to streamline the organization of my dirt and, of course, the records for my turf. GCD tranny blackmail server where we collect blackmail on transsexuals. So they will very much blackmail people. They're trying to do that with me, but good luck. Admit it, you're lying, and that address shown is not your actual address, or I'll release the actual address. If I'm going to be vilified for doxing you, I might as well do so. Resent your lies, my dear. So this is directly with Annamosity. Um, Puts the name, challenges transphobes to a fight at with the address. So this is what he does. He'll go on social medias and he'll post your name and address and direct people to come and harm you. That's a thing they do. They bring physical violence to you. Me as a Second Amendment enthusiast, I have no problem with people doing that. I am a FAFO person. Um, this is where Annamosity claims he posted photos of his kid on the internet. Then a troll got a hold of them and made an account. The account is not me, has been in spaces the past 2 days, speaking with different persons' voices. Again, everything he says does a lie. This is related to that Emily Dawn person. He took photos of my kid and turned them into something gross. Trigger warning here. The PFP is of their child, okay? Child. Says, Daddy, you're hurting me. Daddy, please stop. Daddy, it hurts me to see you wear frocks like Mommy. Won't you love me anymore, Daddy? I miss my daddy. Your erections scare me. Daddy, please stop your sexual fetishes. And it goes on and on. I was concerned that this was a troll and not Annamosity. Initially, these were the original screenshots, and then when I went back and pulled up the account because it still exists, there were newer posts that speak and sound exactly like Annamosity does. So it's kind of like he used it as a troll account and then started posting other stuff when Emily Dawn backed off. I would say with a 90% certainty that this account is Annamosity doing this stuff. This is what he does. He will use your information, your family's information, and they will put information out there to cause harm. Love me, you are clearly not listening what I just said. You're clearly not listening. His tweets since your post look like he's trying to play victim card and to vindicate him still not being AGP. LOL, this man will try and make excuses for everything. The kids on the Discord thing is unexcusable to me. Yup, you're not the only one who reached out. Again, not surprised. He enjoys torturing people. Not just bitchiness, but going too far with people. There must be tens of us at this point. So there are multiple people that have tried to call out Annamosity, and every time it gets shut down because he's going far and attacking them. If that makes sense. I think it's a good point to talk about the J6ers and play the clips from Annamosity's X Live relative to this weekend, so people can understand what is going on currently. Okay. Great Grandma Kim says no proof whatsoever. Cool, Grandma Kim, you're useless. Take note, this is Annamosity's Live on X, violating women in the name of stealth. There's Annamosity and J6er Jennifer. This person, okay? This person is always around Annamosity in the lives and is local to them. They are J6er. Just wait till you see the clip.
To drag trannies and debate some
Anna.
of them selectively. I like to debate the ones who pretend to be
Anna.
based. What?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Would you like me to reach out on your behalf? I am kind of President Trump co-defendant.
To that person? To the non-binary woman with the
No,
socio-political
no.
identity?
If you want to
No.
let all of your far alt-right people know that you know me and that I'm looking for alt-right conservatives to stand
Send
with
me your
me
info.
at trans.
Listen,
Well,
I'm
you've
alt-right
seen
as
my.
Let your alt right people know I am looking for alt right people. She's looking to connect to those extremist groups.
Seen my main account on
girl.
Dr. I would not want like a tranny, but I would be happy with some MAGA or something.
I'm mega as fuck, girl. I'm an oath keeper. You kidding me? I stormed the
They're an oath keeper. If you don't know who the oath keepers are, Google them.
Capitol on J6.
No, I
I'm not bragging, but I am literally President Trump's co-defendant on a J6 case that is still ongoing.
I just
If you want,
I just want some conservative men to go to protest. Like, on the 28th
okay,
of
well,
this
I'm not
month,
a
on the
conservative man.
28th, well, you are a
I am a
conservative guy. It's
conservative
just like
trans
optics.
woman, and I'm happy to speak on your behalf.
On the 28th of this month, there is a trans pride event that is unlicensed because the transgender community refuses to allow the police
Trans
to
is great.
provide safety. Let me finish. They refuse to allow the police to provide safety for their event, so it's unlicensed. There's no food or drinks as a result of that. It's in a public park where everybody has the right to be
Typical
there.
Marxism.
It's completely unlicensed, public event. It's filled with socialists and Marxists, and instead of the cops,
Socialist and Marxist. You just
instead of the cops providing
said it.
security for the event is
Yes,
provided by
this is
Antifa. I
communist
am
as
the
fuck.
most hated detransitioner in Seattle.
So this live was like 3 days ago. Okay. 3 or 4 days ago. Paul, to correct me. You're the one watching all the X accounts, but feel free to throw it in chat, correct me. Huge kudos to the people that were breaking these down. This live was like 3-4 days ago, and they're talking about an event that is going on tomorrow in Seattle, Washington. 3-ish, okay. They're talking about an event going on tomorrow in Seattle, Washington, where there are not police there protecting them, from the outside even. And they want to peacefully march through the area, okay? We know it's to incite a reaction. We know they're Second Amendment enthusiasts. They're looking for someone to react so then they can do something. I'll play the rest of the clip and then I got one more after this.
Seattle, and I would like to go there and record on the
Oh
28th of
God,
this
girl, you're in
month. I
Seattle.
am
You're in the
looking for
wrong motherfucking place.
conservative men and
Girl, that is
women who would
Antifa
like to
Central.
peacefully walk.
They said with pepper pew pews, by the way. With pepper pew pews. But anybody that has known Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, J6ers, they don't carry pepper pew pews.
Through this park, peacefully
No,
walk through this
cool.
park and say hi to folks.
No, there ain't no peaceful about Antifa.
No.
Antifa's a bunch of violent, racist
I
Marxists.
just want to take a walk through a public park that has a
I
public
support
event
you.
happening, like as is my right,
I dig it. Fucking Antifa.
as the most hated detransitioner in the region who's hunted
The
by
most hated
Antifa.
girl. You want my fucking you
I just need like
detransitioner.
three
You
or
want my
four.
motherfucking backup.
I just need
Girl,
like 3 or 4
shit, I am
conservative
your
men with pepper
bitch.
guns, ideally.
Shit. I don't think
So the substance usage person that was talking over Annamosity was Jen, who is a J6er. She actually was charged with the Capitol Hill on January 6th. Okay. This is not a joke. This is very dangerous. This is why it was already reported to the police days ago. And I did send an email to the event organizers for Pride for Seattle, Washington area so they can be unaware and alert about these people. Let me play the next clip.
you understand. I am an oath keeper. I am not just some fuck off nobody. Like the reason I was one of 14 who only had our sentences commuted after January 6th because I was an oath keeper. Oath keepers and Proud Boys, shit. That stack that went up to fucking Capitol stairs, that was us. Girl, shit. I will protect you. Fuck Antifa. Fuck Antifa. And twice on Sundays. You want to walk through a park? I got you. You just let me
Yeah,
know
if you
when.
know
I'll
anybody in the
fly
Seattle
out there because
area
I
for
hate Antifa with every fucking fiber I got in me, girl. I don't think you understand. I went to 9 Black Lives Matter protests. Like, come on, bring it, Antifa.
June 28th is when I'm
Yeah, in
trying to do
2020.
this.
In 2020. I
June,
went
June.
there with the Oath Keepers as a medic. I was their medic. The boys carried the rifles. I carried the band-aids. Girl, shit.
Is
Fuck.
this going to be in Seattle
Yeah,
or
June
what?
28th at the Volunteer Park.
Now this is
There
in
is a
Louisville.
trans pride event that is the
Now
security
fuck
is
Pride.
provided by
No,
Antifa. I
fuck
hope you're listening,
Pride.
Bryn. I'm gonna go down there whether I'm alone or not and exercise my right to walk through that park.
Roger that. Copy. Good. Roger that. I am totally into that. Girl, get it. That's what I'm saying. Like, fuck this
Lita,
shit.
don't kill
I'm so
me. I'm
tired of
gonna do
Pride.
it.
I am
I
so
just said
tired of
it, so now I
Antifa. I
have
am so
to.
tired of Black
All
Lives Matter.
right,
I'm so tired of
listen,
all these
I cannot live stream it this time because I am going to be out of town trying to cultivate contacts
Okay,
for your personal
look.
security.
If
So you have to
Antifa,
hang on, I'm almost done. You have to
Fuck's sake. I got a message here. He is live right now at an event on Twitter. He's live on Twitter right now at an event hiding wearing a mask. He's going to Washington events. Hold on, we're going to take a brief intermission here. I'm going to post up a picture. Hold up. Transform and fit to screen. This is him right now, live at an event. Transphobe 01. He's live right now at an event. Someone is going to get hurt.
live stream this with somebody who isn't me.
okay,
Because I
I
can't
don't
do
need to
it.
live stream it with somebody who isn't you. I just spent like
I
$4,000
can
on
get you a
camera equipment and I have a battery
okay.
backup going to a backpack. I can now live stream mobile from
I can
anywhere
get
in the
you a
country.
Perfect. I'm in favor of this then, and I will watch it as I am able.
Yes, and I'm just going to walk through. I'm not even going to take my bullhorn. I'm not going to call them autogynephiles because I'll probably be alone. I just want to walk through the park and see if I can do it. The
You
security is
can do it.
provided by Antifa, and they've
Fuck
all
Antifa.
circulated my face and name. So I want to see if they'll actually just attack me in a public park just for
Hey,
walking
maybe
through.
maybe you should wear my t
Wants to see if they'll attack him in a public park. They have a concealed carry permit. They are in a public park as we speak, live streaming it. This isn't good. Like, this is why it was reported to the police. They want to incite violence. If you look through their profile, if you go to the YouTube channel, they have all these pew-pews and they want to use them. They like to provoke a response. One of the Seattle, Washington events. So he is there now. He's in a park right now, walking through. So there are ties to J6ers, Oath Keepers, and Proud Boys. None of them play games, okay? This is why I say this person is seriously dangerous. Yeah, if you're local Seattle, please call. Look at the local Seattle events that are going on right now. I did let the park or the event coordinators know. I sent them all an email with the video and all of Anna's information. So they have his information, pictures, description, all the social media platforms. They have everything sent to them. Whether or not someone's reacting on that, I don't know. The stuff with the minors is kind of big. To me, this is more concerning. This is a big thing. I'm saying they're both equally important. This is the actionable item now. This is something that is happening right now. This is something that could go south at any moment. And I'm not even hyping it up. The other stuff, there was in the history that is concerning, that warrants investigation and further research by the authorities. This is live. Michelle, I can't stream his live because he will see me in there. So, I don't know X that well. I don't fuck around with it. Alright, I was gonna go through the news articles. We kind of all seen the detransition stuff. It's all there. Talked about the bathroom childhood trauma, the minor stuff. I think I'm good with leaving it here for information. Transphobe 01, Cuttlefish. 1 second, let me take off the display capture. And then I can pull up my profile. Jay, I'm going to send you all the social medias. This person's at a public park event right now in Seattle, Washington. And they were just on a call this week talking about inciting a response from people. Grandma Kim, like, if you don't care, just say so. Like, if you want to live oblivious to people doing this stuff, just say so. We know where your moral values stand, and you don't care about people's lives. It is a pride event going on in a park tonight. There's 2 tonight in Seattle, Washington. There's 1 tomorrow, and they want to go attend both of them. So, I think we're good with all the information. I will put together a couple videos with slideshows and release them with what is going on live. I think I'm good to end this here, and then bring people up and we can talk about it. I will do the other songs in a little bit. All right. People are pulling it up for me. So I think we're good with the information here. I'm going to open it up. All right. Let me stop streaming to YouTube.